Hello everybody, sorry for the delay. My Bible study ran a little bit late and I wanted to make sure to finish stuff up there before I came here. So let's get started now. I wanted to see something. Alright, here we go. So, thank you for coming to today's stream. If you read the title, you'd know that what we're going to be exploring is some different ways to build mage type characters and ideas for how to fit them in an outer space setting. Now, outer space can be a very fantastical setting with a lot of big, powerful options, and I feel like you have to be very careful when introducing any kind of magic or supernatural forces into a hard sci-fi setting. I feel like they have to have some specific limitations and restrictions and some reason why they can't just solve all the problems. You want the players to use their science, use their technology, use their equipment in order to be resolving these problems. So I wanted to go over an old character concept of mine that I think can work really well in an outer space setting. You notice I have 3 different versions here of the same character, and that's because I wanted to go over 3 different concepts. This first one, this is Grimoire, a character I made forever ago. I made this character forever ago, and I was thinking about it. I didn't keep the same backstory. I changed up the backstory, but a lot of the same concept went into the construction of this character. He's a PL6 character, so he's extremely weak. And what he's using for this design, he's got 38 points in abilities. His biggest ability is his awareness. And this uses a variant rule that was introduced, I believe, in the Supernatural Handbook. I know it's in the Gadget Guide. And it uses a mechanic in the called benefit readied spells, where you can have as many readied spells as you have ranks in the benefit, but you can only have as many ranks as your power level. Readied rituals. And this works with the ritualist's advantage, where essentially your character would create rituals and then you would have to keep a list of all the rituals you created, and then you could perform the ritual, but you would stop just short of completing the ritual, and you would have the ritual ready, and then as a standard action, you could cast one of your readied rituals. If this sounds familiar, that's because that's how arcane magic used to work in D&D. That is exactly how D&D arcane magic used to be flavor described. The wizard would perform all of the long arcane processes in the morning when preparing and readying spells, and stop just short, and then that one standard action that you perform is you completing the rest of the incantation. And this allows you to build a character who doesn't actually have magical powers. Actually, you know what? I am going to change gears here. And before I jump into Grimoire, I know I'm like partway through explaining Grimoire's concept, but Grimoire's concept is using ritualist and readied rituals combined with quickness. Because quickness, if you limit it to one task, is one point gets you 3 ranks. And scaling the quickness, one quickness power for designing the rituals, 1 quickness power for preparing the rituals, because I consider those 2 separate activities. And by doing that, you get this done in a set amount of time. Like for this build, right? Also with the readied rituals, you can only ready a ritual whose PowerPoint cost is equal to your ranks of expertise magic. So for this character, he's got maxed out magic of 16, because 10 plus 6, and his expertise magic is 16, which means he can ready up spells that cost up to 16 power points. And then I have here in the notes and conditions this information here that really highlights how this all works. You can ready known spells that cost 16 power points or less. Research takes 15 minutes. Readying them takes 4 minutes. Can ready up to 6 spells. Can be the same spell, different spells. Casting readied spells takes a standard action. Known spells are in the Grimoire equipment. Spells last the normal duration up to the length of any scene. So with the original build, researching takes 15 minutes. So researching a spell was easy. Like the character, like researching and readying a spell took less than 20 minutes. This was the original design I had for Grimoire with this ridiculously high amount of power points for, well, this ridiculously high amount of quickness for researching the spells. Because normally, researching, designing a ritual takes 4 hours per PowerPoint of the ritual. So a 16 PowerPoint ritual would take 84 hours. That's between 3 and 4 days. So then you would just take that up to 4 days, and dropping that down with the 9 ranks of quickness brings it down to 15 minutes. Now, this original design was extremely powerful. I only needed 6 ranks for preparing the rituals because preparing a ritual only takes 10 minutes per PowerPoint of the ritual. So a 16 PowerPoint ritual is only going to take 160 minutes, which is just short of 3 hours. But then with this quickness 6, that drops it down to 4 minutes. So this was my original design. I call this my type 1. But I felt like not having cantrips. Like cantrips serve a huge purpose in Dungeons and Dragons because your caster is able to utilize them to fulfill a variety of roles. Cantrips are the free spells that don't cost a spell slot to use and are extremely powerful. And, well, okay, cantrips normally aren't extremely powerful, but they're normally very versatile. And I felt like having no cantrips on this thing meant that he only could use 6 spells. And in some worlds, right, where you don't have, where rituals are the only form of magic. This is designed for this idea of rituals being the only form of magic, where magic takes time and effort and isn't just another power. That's where I got the idea for this, of a character that relies entirely on rituals. But that got me thinking, because this isn't what a normal caster looks like. This is not remotely what a normal spellcaster type character in Mutants and Masterminds would look like by any stretch of the imagination. A normal spellcaster character would have a huge power array, and I have a few of those. So this Dragon Mystic. And normally their power set is this big array that starts with a magic blast, and then you've got your Dispel Magic, your Billowing Darkness, your Mystic Constructs, all that stuff. This huge and powerful and versatile thing, and then all that they have to do is extra effort and power stunt one of these powers in order to create a new spell on the fly. Which, that's huge. And this is what a normal caster looks like, right? Got the powerful presence, the powerful magic blast. Now, if you look at this character's expertise magic is nowhere near Grimoire's. Doesn't even remotely have any of that. And this ties into this concept I was having for how do I fit magical NPCs in my outer space sci-fi game? Because I wanted to. And the best answer I could come up with was I tie it into the greater narrative and make some great restrictions on having magical powers. But I also have hard caps and limits, like this dragon mystic is the most powerful, almost mortal thing that they're going to be dealing with outside of a massive demon or dragon. And space is full of all kinds of powerful energies and forces. So I decided to have, there's the big, powerful ones like this young space dragon. That's basically the space dragon from the Cosmic Handbook. This is literally just the space dragon with the Cosmic Handbook, but I didn't give it any magic except, did I give it, let me check. Give it any, nope, this has no magical abilities whatsoever. I'll probably rework this and build it an adult space dragon, but trade out, give it some alternate effect of its plasma breath. Yeah, I might do that. One, two, three, four. Why do I have, hold on. This is a cone area. Why do I have this as... That's not a single target ability, that's a cone. I guess I can have it as an alternate effect. Sorry, I got very distracted. But yeah, besides having these, let me show you this space demon. This is a space demon that my players have a chance to run into, which will crack open a lot of the stuff, and it has this powerful mystical aura. Its perception range. This is based on the elder demon, I believe, from the Game Master's Guide. I believe that was where I got that from. And it's the Elder Evil. Except I've enhanced his senses in order to really work better on a cosmic level. I gave him extended vision 10 and tied all of his awarenesses to his vision. So it took a lot of math, but this demonized power, for only costing 23 power points, allows this individual to see everything through objects, through illusions, through concealment, because it penetrates and counters concealment. And can see everything within 3 astral units. It's not quite a star. It's not a light year. I was debating a light year, but I just got tired of doing the math. So develop this Elder Space Demon. Then develop the Space Demon Whelp, which is another supernatural creature with the ability to manipulate other creatures. This is all about manipulating and lying and just lots of powerful deception. but still being capable if push comes to shove, if a fight does break out, this character is more than capable of defending itself. So, anyway, the Dragon Mystic is your stereotypical mage. This is your stereotypical mage character with a powerful magical blast power and all of the other known spells as alternate effects of the original blast power, or at least they're all on an array together. So that's powerful. And it's very easy to scale up and upgrade. Every adventure you complete, you get a power point. You just spend that power point and you've learned a new spell. And that turns into this very easy to build up character. But in this world, then the magical abilities are just like any other abilities, just like any other powers. But I wanted them to feel different. I wanted them to feel special. Now, the Dragon Mystic can have this power because it's connected to a space dragon, so it has this power. But I was looking at, what if there's a power, a mystical force that wasn't tied to some elder space magic thing? Which is what got me thinking about Grimoire again. But the problem I had with Grimoire was that his ritual system with his quickness is both too fast and too slow. It's so fast that there's no real cost in time and effort to design a new ritual. You just spend 15 minutes, you can extra effort to cut that time in half in 7-8 minutes or whatever, and you've designed a new spell from the ground up. But because he has no actual regular spells himself, he's just helpless if he uses up those 6 spells, which bugged me. So then I got working on this, which was what I call the Type 2. This is where I scaled back a lot of his stats, I scaled back his skills. This is a version of Grimoire that kept Ritualist but dropped the readied spells in exchange for designing a more traditional spellcasting setup, with a Mystic Blast being a range damage ability that's his magic, and then his other spells being alternate effects of his magic. This is a more traditional language. Now, he has Polyglot, which is an innate ability he has because of his backstory, and it only costs 4 points. And for him, he's a master of languages, and magic is just another language to him. So there's that. It's very simple. This character has none of the ritual, he still has Ritualist, so he can design spells, but it's going to take a long time, and it's just not going to be a relevant thing to do when he can just extra effort in order to learn a new spell. He can just hero point and know a new spell. So there's not really a cost there. And so while this gave more versatility, it dealt with that 6 spell casting hard limit, but I felt like it went too far, where this character it threw away everything that I liked about Ritualist. And so that got me thinking about a third way. This is what I call the Type 3. Now, this one has the whole thing where the presence is dropped, some of the other skills are dropped, and he still has the readied spells, right? Except his mystical talent power is weaker, and he has a weaker quickness for designing the rituals. So preparing the ritual still takes 4 minutes, But with this build, with only quickness 3, it will take him 16 hours to design a new spell, which can be broken up into 2 8-hour workdays. If he extra efforts to increase his rank of quickness by 1, he cuts that down from 16 down to 8 hours. So then he can ready a new spell in 1 8-hour workday. Or at least he can learn a new one. Which I felt was like a good sweet spot for the spell. Is there's a cost to producing a new spell. So it's not that 15-minute shenanigans, right, that the Type 1 had. But at that point, I wanted something else to happen. And with the decreased skill ranks, the decreased presence rank, and the decreased quickness rank, I designed a cantrip. Mystic Bolt, range damage 3, magic force. A simple spell that he can cast without preparation. Mystic Bolt is only 3, so it's about as strong as your standard pistol. It's about as strong as a piece of equipment. Which is where I drew the line with this. I wanted it to be as strong as a piece of equipment. He only has 4 for his ranged attack because he's got 3 dexterity and he's got range attack 1. So that only adds up to 7. So that's about a PL4. So that's a little bit weaker than where he's at. And he has his elemental blast for doing more damage with infused with elementals. But that means because his only known spell then becomes his elemental blast. I like to start these characters with 1 known spell. 1 known spell, and then the rest of them you design as you go. Originally with Grimoire, with the Type 1, I had designed 2 known spells because I needed to give him some kind of versatility if that was the only thing he had, which then translated into the Type 2. But this then you see this standard progression where you have a very weak spell that he can cast unprepared. That's just a simple ball of mystical force. And then his known prepared spell is that ball of mystical force, but infused with elemental energy, with variable descriptor 2 and 3 extra ranks of power. Sorry, 4 extra ranks of power. That's deadly and dangerous, but it's a limit. And then for gameplay purposes, I say that even though it has variable and you can change the elemental thing before, like as a free action, since he has to prepare these rituals, I say he has to pick whatever element it is when he's preparing the ritual. And then for this design, I have here in the notes and conditions where he has the 6 slots, and each one is a different element. Now, if he needs to know a new spell and he doesn't have the 2 8-hour workdays or the 1 8-hour workday with extra effort to design a new spell, he can design a new spell that costs less than 6 power points, and he can extra effort to power stunt his Mystic Bolt in order to create a new cantrip. That is where I felt like we split the difference and got the best of both worlds here. This character is something kind of near and dear to my heart. I'm planning to introduce him in the next few sessions for the campaign. But I wanted this character to have this restriction where he can't use his full power without readying the spells. And this kind of highlighted one of the key things about Mutants and Masterminds that makes it different from a lot of other RPGs. In things like D&D, your goal is always to gain more power. As a player, you're constantly moving forward, gaining new pieces of equipment, trying to gain new options and new power. And if you can put together a combination that tears the game wide open, that's something that's celebrated in D&D. In Mutants and Masterminds, that's not hard to do. There's all kinds of combinations that can make you OP and completely tear the game wide open. But that doesn't do anything for the fun of the game. For the sake of the fun of the game, you have to intentionally limit yourself in order to restrict what you can do to stuff that makes sense. Because it's real easy to build a power that doesn't make sense, but still works. It still works on paper. It's still perfectly legal power, but it just is completely overpowered. And that's just an easy thing to do. So what we're working on today, after looking at all of these characters, is as a personal challenge, because with Doctor Strange right around the corner, I was thinking, what about building a type 3 Grimoire? A character that has cantrips and regular spells, but building it as a PL10 character. I'm going to use the framework of the Mystic from the build your own character thing, from the character generator in the Mutants and Masterminds Deluxe Player's Handbook, or Deluxe Heroes Handbook. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to build a PL10 version of this character that's going to be Dr. Unusual. So let's get started. Because I feel like building a version of Doctor Strange that just has all the magic as powers feels like it doesn't represent all the things that make Doctor Strange unique. What makes him unique is having that whole Sanctum Sanctorum, having that whole, having all of those just unique spells at his disposal that he can research and learn about. And his power isn't so much his magic as much as it's his ability to study. So, let me flip this open. I just realized I've been going this whole time and I didn't have my avatar up and running at all. I'm a terrible VTuber. I'm a terrible VTuber. Embrace the scuff. Embrace the scuff. There we go. All right, so let's build this Dr. Unusual. This is a PL10 character. All right, so we're starting with the Mystic Master for the ability score setup. I might make some changes to this as we go. Okay. Our advantages here. We're going to get equipment 3 for the headquarters. Ranged attack 5. That's interesting. Trance, I have weird feelings about, because thematically it makes sense. Don't get me wrong. Sanctuary. I don't like how they set this up here, because you're technically paying for huge, but the dual size is that it's medium on the inside, it's medium on the outside, but whatever. Toughness 10. Concealed. Dual size, huge. I always make sure to specify that this is a magical laboratory, because the Hero's Handbook states that magical things need their own laboratories, their own workshops. Library. Living space. Personnel. Sealed. Security system. Self-repairing is nice. Kind of OP, but very nice. Magical workshop. Okay, so that adds up to 15. I might trim that back in order to make some space. If I can shave off 5 power points of that in order to save some points, I might do it. All right, and then ritualists. Well informed, because taking the your student, you study, research, constantly keep informed. Yes. Take expertise. Magic 10. Insight 6. Perception 4. So we're going to choose once. Going to do an occult investigation, because this guy's an investigator, so it's going to be investigation 4, sleight of hand 4. I think Dr. Strange could do some magic tricks. Now, before I move forward, I'm going to do the defenses. I'm going to skip ahead to the defenses. There we go. So we got the defenses situated. So we've spent 91 of our 150 power points. So we have a decent amount of power points left to go. So now is when things start going off the rails as we start building our defensive and offensive powers. First, we're going to start with his equipment, which is he has his Mystic Cloak, which really stole the show of every scene it was in. Protection 12. Flight 4. Should cost 20 points. Simple as that. We're not doing the impervious because we have not seen any sign that it's bulletproof. Flight 4 gives it 30 miles per hour. I don't understand why it always just defaults to miles per hour and doesn't tell you feet per round, because that's important too. So this is 500 feet per round. There we go. So, but we're going to make this removable because it's a device. So it costs 20. 5 goes into 24 times, so this is going to be -4. Cost 16. Okay. So far, so good. Next, we take up the 7 more points in magic to bring his magic up to 20. Since he's in space, I'll give him 1 rank of technology. So we've got the Mystic Cloak. Got his defensive powers. So defensively, he's on point. Next, readied rituals 10. Now for his cantrips for this character, I'm thinking, let's see, hold on. He's got 5 for his range attack, plus the 3 for his dexterity means he's going to be adding 8. I'm thinking his default Mystic Bolt should be a power 6. Hello? Range damage 6. So that means it's going to be... His cantrip's going to be more powerful than most equipment. It's going to be on par with the high-end equipment and the more tech level 2 stuff. It's more powerful than your standard rifle, and I think that that's a good place to start with that. Now is where the math starts. Because we have to figure out how long it's going to take him to do these different spells. So Max's known spells can be is 20 points. Research for 20 points is going to be 4 hours per rank. So that's going to be 80 hours. That is about 4 days. 3 days is 72 hours. So yeah, that's more than 3 days. That's going to be time rank 16. And I want to get it down. Oh, so this Mystic Talent, this doesn't change very much from the PL6 version. So quickness 3. Hold on, that can't be right. Yeah, 4 hours times 20. That's 80 hours. Okay. Oh, before it was just short of 3 days. And between, okay, so it's still in that range between rank 15 and 16. The one task. Designing new rituals. Now, to ready them, it takes 10 minutes per rank. So that's 20 times 10 is 200 minutes, which is between 3 to 4 hours, which is still going to be, it's still going to be time rank 11. So quickness 6, one task. I list those as two of the same thing because it's the same thing. Actually, it would be better to do performing rituals because it takes as long to perform the ritual. Whatever your time is to perform the ritual is how long it takes to ready the ritual. So you have to perform the ritual to ready it. So just listing it as performing rituals just works better. All told, that's 3 points. That's really good. And I still have a lot of points left to play with. So I have an idea because I want to play with something else here. Right now, he's at range attack 5, plus his dexterity of 3 means he's going to have range attack 8. I want his range attack to be 14, so I need 6 more, so it's going to be 11. That's a lot to have for range attack, but, alright, so first, unarmed strike, 4, 0, Melee bludgeoning. Mystic Bolt. Then becomes 14. Range Magic Force. So now at this point, this character has 8 points left that could be spent on skills. Yeah. While I'm at it, I will design... I like to make this a 0-point piece of equipment, just so I can keep track of known spells or known rituals. It gets really confusing going between the names. Range damage 10. Inaccurate 2. Minus 4. Elemental. So that's what I want. So then he starts with his elemental blast, which takes the minus 4 because it's inaccurate. Okay. So now he has all of that mystic power. And he still has 8 points he can spend on skills, which creates a very balanced character. So let's go back to let me copy this from Grimoire Type 3. Except instead of readying up to 6, he readies up to 10 spells. Okay. I'm actually surprised that moving up from 16 to 20 didn't move the time ranks up enough for this to actually be different. Like, it was a vast amount of time, but because the time ranks were already so high, it just didn't nudge it enough. I actually really like how this character came out. And the fact that his Mystic Cloak also allows him to fly. Is something that I think is quite versatile for the character. So this is just better in every regard. come up with a couple spells because I think it'd be more interesting if this character starts with like 3 or 4 spells, because this isn't a PL6 character anymore. So when I first built Grimoire, I didn't know that you could just keep known spells, and I took a special benefit advantage where I had 1 for every known spell. But the thing is, that just clashed with like learning new spells. All right, so let's slide back to the Mystic. Let's look at the other skills. I can definitely see him taking this stuff from Intimidation and Persuasion, because he can be intimidating. And then skilled in the art of deception. Sure, we can say our guy's skilled in the art of deception. Takes a little bit of deception to do magic tricks. Okay. So now let's design a few more known spells. Okay, so now he has all of the slots. I like Elemental Blast. I think that's a very funny one. And because he has that 2 points for the inaccurate to work with, he can take the inaccurate and he can get improved crit 2 on any prepared spells, except we're calling them rituals. I think I call them rituals and everything else. Yep, calling them. Okay. So let's look at some of the known spells that we have here. Let's see what we got here. Ooh. Ghost Hands. Perception move, range move object, which costs 3. Subtle 2, so it's invisible. It's going to be 6. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20, yep. I like Ghost Hands. put a note here. 20 PP or less. Or if he casts something that's bigger, he can't ready it. He has to cast it as is. Okay. I think Ghost Hand gives him a little bit of variation. What else would I want him to have? Ooh. Message is a good one. I think communication is 4 points per rank. Let me double check that. What other powers, chat, do you think I could design for him? Four points per rank. At that point, I would go towards. We has to know that the person's there. Yeah, so we'll do 5, unlimited range. So I'll do 5 just because unlimited range. And also I should record how much the Ghost Hand can carry. Ghost Hand's 6. So that's max strength is 3,200 pounds max. So worldwide would be more balanced, but having something that doesn't cost exactly 20 gets really goofy with preparation time. And it's just easier if it costs 20. I just realized I didn't give him any mystic senses. That's okay. Instead of those extra skills, I could have given him mystic senses or some other talent, but I feel like this still works. I could have given him the polyglot. I could have given him the polyglot. I just like the polyglot power because I feel like it suits this idea of the character being this embodiment of a language. That's 4 points. There we go. Mr. Magic Tricks over there. Okay. I will add one more power. Comprehend. Languages. Understood. Understand. Read/write. Okay. And then it's an innate talent that I'll give him. Boom. Okay. So, and I generally like the part that's going to be a part of a, I generally like the part that's going to be a part of an alternate effect or an array to be the end, so that way I can just add a new power to it as it goes. Oh, I was going to cut down some of the presence score. I might still do that in order to get a little bit more. Did I keep any persuasion? No, I didn't. Trade that out a little bit. One more of that. A little bit more persuasion. A little bit of deception. What's that put me at? Just because I can, I'm gonna give him a little bit of ranks in medicine. Expertise medicine. Just to lean into this doctor persona. So overall, I think that we've designed a pretty interesting character. I think this would be a fun character to run. This character would be on a quest to gain additional spells, to learn additional spells, to recover ancient artifacts that enable them to perform different mystical feats. Didn't take Artificer. This is based around rituals. But this character has some limited abilities with Mystic Bolt and a lot of ranged attack abilities. The ranged attack abilities are really where this stuff shines. And as long as this character has access to their sanctuary, they can always come up with new and cool features. Ghost Hand makes a very unique and powerful spell for moving objects or grappling people. It's perception range, so you can just instantly grapple something. It's not precise, so it's not like you're going to be turning pages or pressing specific buttons. But it's still quite powerful. And message will enable for mass communication on a greater range. Arguably, message should be a cantrip. They should have the limited range version of message, since it's 4 points per rank. What's 3? I think that's over a mile. Let me see something here. Communication power. Let's check this out. Long range, so across a statewide or across a small nation, being able to send a message like that to someone that you're aware of. You also have to be aware of them. Okay. Could treat it as a cantrip. And this is where the rub comes in, because I can short any skill in order to create it as a cantrip. In order to create message as a cantrip that instead goes across state lines, that becomes a communication power. Or to build the move object, or to build Ghost Hand, because it's 3 per rank. 4, but I want subtle too, so 3 is 9. Subtle 2 is 11, then make it precise. So again, like I could nerf everything and make them cantrips. That's definitely a possibility. I'm surprised, honestly, this readied rituals benefit isn't as heavy of a cost as I thought it was going to be. All right, trance. I'm never going to use, and I don't think would ever. Well, I mean, I'm never going to use this character, but this is more of an exercise in design. Splitting the difference. Let's create. Communicate 3 mental. Small nation. Okay. So this keeps it to the one known spell, and the rest of them are just simple things. And I gotta just short one more PowerPoint. And that's the thing with this. It can become really easy to break this open. Like, gonna cost 3. Move object. 3. Subtle 2. Precise. And the max strength this can manipulate is 400 pounds. That's better. Okay. That gets rid of two arguably very OP spells. So then this begs the question, right? If he has this like decent setup of spells, right? Why would he even use the rituals? The answer is when he needs more power, when he needs something that's stronger than 12 power points. I'm wondering how much has actually been spent on this. Let's actually look that up. So he spent 3 points there. Plus 10 is 13. That's about 9, so about 22 points. Some of which were already going to be spent anyway, so like 22, 23 points. It's funny that Ghost Hand can easily be like the thing where he opens the portals. And again, like, could easily make a portal power using the sling ring. But like that's the thing with like those spells are like they come from the sling ring. So I feel like I would make that spell easily removable. Or removable. Because that's just a teleportation portal. How much would that cost? Let's look. Teleport is 2 points per rank. Portal brings it up to 4 points per rank. So so it could make it 3 points. 3 ranks of distance is 250 feet. That's not very far. Like in the show, like in the movie, that sling ring can take them super far away. So I guess if I made it easily removable, because like he went from one area straight to the Alps, like, and also they crossed dimensions with that. So I don't think you could really create that power. Not really. Could make it extended, but yeah. Anyway, thank you to everyone who came through to the stream. Sorry we started late. Let me write a bio for this character. What's the bio for this character? Because this isn't Grimoire. This is something else. What's funny is, with a power attack, the Mystic Bolt goes up to a decent 8 ranks. You could take the power attack advantage. That would be great. That would be able to move this thing up to 11. That would make the Mystic Bolt a real threat. But again, I feel like that's like betraying the spirit of the character. Arguably, he should have more ranks in medicine. But he would use sleight of hand for surgeon things. So, let's write this character's bio. So how would I describe this character? Don't want to steal too much from Doctor Strange. I'd say he's a surgeon who lost a patient he couldn't save. Went on a quest to find more powerful medicine that could have the patient. Discovered an ancient order of mages that use reality bending magic of creation. And studying, discovering he had a mystic talent, a powerful hero, Dr. Unusual. Okay, his powers are different. His innate spells are different. He splits the difference between a ritualist and a regular caster. He has his regular casting array. It's just much smaller. It's half the size of a regular caster's array. Normally it would be 24 points. His is 12. But in exchange for that, he has this ritualist power which enables him to design powerful spells, which are kind of like plot points. And it keeps my rule about having one known spell. So this steps up the powers. This is arguably just a better Grimoire. This is much better. I like the Mystic Cloak. Overall, I think this is a pretty solid character. What do you think, chat? You think there's anything else I can put in here? Design takes 16 hours. I think overall the fact that I was able to be okay with it taking 16 hours to design a full spell is what really frees this up. I wonder, could my players even fight this character? They shouldn't fight this character. So how would I fit this character in an outer space campaign? I would have to fit him as essentially, I would say this is the person who wrote the book that Grimoire is studying in order to gain his mystical powers. I think that would be how I would have to design this character. And then you frame the magic as just like, so Thor, the first Thor movie did a really good job of that, of expressing that in the MCU, magic is just science that goes beyond human understanding, and this idea that there is no magic. But then that got blown wide open by Doctor Strange. But then the question becomes, is Doctor Strange actually dealing in some supernatural arts, or is he dealing in just energy manipulation? Because we've seen characters that can manipulate supernatural amounts of energy. And then for a while we thought that it was just energy manipulation, and then we got Scarlet Witch, and even she was just doing energy manipulation until it just broke wide open. And then we found out from Agatha that there were witches in this reality. So it's gone round and round and round they go. But overall, I'm happy with this character. I think he splits the difference really well. And what's funny is because, oh well, Ghost Hands only move object 3, not move object 6. That's funny. If it was move object 6, it would still be like, if he were to chuck something using Ghost Hand, it would have still been it would have still been within power level. The important thing that's interesting is the cantrips he can extra effort in order to make more powerful. But the actual spells, the more powerful spells, he cannot. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my gosh, this whole time I have been building this Dr. Unusual character, and you all haven't seen anything since I built the character. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I've been talking for almost an hour and you guys haven't seen any of it. Oh my gosh, I thought I was keeping better track of this. I knew it wasn't happening at first, or at least the last half hour. I was keeping a really good eye on it. All right, well, let's go over the character. Here are the ability ranks. I shorted some of the presents because I wanted to get space for other things. Defenses are pretty high. Gets the 12 ranks of toughness from the mystical cape. And then the skill ranks got 2 in deception, 17 in magic, 2 in expertise medicine, 6 in insight, 3 in investigation, 3 in perception, 3 in persuasion, 7 in sleight of hand, and 1 in technology. His stats, his ability ranks are 0 in strength, 1 in agility, 4 in fighting, 6 in awareness, 0 in stamina, 3 in dexterity, 3 in intellect, and 2 in presence. Then for his powers, well, actually defenses, let me do defenses real quick. He's got 7 bonus dodge, bringing his dodge bonus up to 8, 4 bonus parry, which brings his parry bonus up to 8, 6 bonus fortitude, which brings his fortitude bonus up to 6, and 7 bonus will, which brings his will bonus up to 13. And because of his mystic robe, he gets 12 additional toughness, but that's removable, so that could be damaged. Let's do advantages. He's got 3 ranks in equipment, which is just his headquarters. 11 ranged attack, 1 ritualist, 1 well-informed, and 10 benefit-readied rituals. 10, which means he can have 10 rituals ready to cast, where he spends the time he essentially performs the ritual in the morning or whenever, and stops just before completion, and then he completes the ritual in the standard action, which allows him to use the rituals in a stressful situation when he needs to. His sanctuary is externally it's size medium, but he's paying for size huge. Has toughness 10, features concealed, dual size, where it's huge on the inside. Magic laboratory, library, living space, personnel, sealed security system, self-repairing, magical workshop. I gave him a 0-cost piece of equipment for the Grimoire to record his known rituals, and his only known ritual that I'm starting him off with is Elemental Bolt, which is range damage 10, inaccurate 2, variable descriptor 2, elemental. Bolt. Okay. Then his powers. Let's go over his powers real quick. Okay. I was really worried for a second it froze again. Like I just slipped over because I watched the stream on my phone while I'm streaming. So that's funny. Anyways, he's got the Mystic Cloak that I mentioned before. It gives him protection 4, protection 12, flight 4. It has removable, which gives him a -4 to it. So that costs 16 power points. He's got his Mystic Talent, which is quickness 3, limit to 1 task, designing new rituals. Quickness 6, limit to 1 task, performing rituals. And those together add up to 3 power points. He's got Polyglot, which is ability to comprehend all languages, understand, understood, and read and write, and it's innate. And that's 7 power points. And then he gets to his Cantrips, which is known spells that he can cast unreadied. I guess you would call them, I mean, you could just call them cantrips because, like, that's what they are. They're little magic tricks. A cantrip means a magic trick. They're not full-on big rituals. They're just a little trick. Mystic Bolt, which is range damage 6, which costs 12 power points. Then communicate through the message, which is communicate 3 mental, which can communicate statewide across a small nation. That also costs 12, but it's only paying for 1 because it's in an array. Then Ghost Hand, perception range, move object 3, subtle 2, precise, the 400-pound maximum. Overall, actually, what's funny is with precise on Ghost Hand, he could lift up a lot of books and be turning the pages of the books. That's funny. Because you can pick up multiple things with your move object as long as you don't go over the weight limit. unless you have concentration. If you have concentration on your move object, then you can only hold one thing at a time. Overall, I feel like this splits the difference. Is it a little bit power gamey? Kind of, because he can develop any known spell, but it takes him 2 days. It takes him 2 8-hour work days, or 1 8-hour work day if he extra efforts. And if he power attacks his Mystic Bolt, it could still be just as strong as a regular attack. So he's not without his defense. His Elemental Bolt, however, is going to be vastly more powerful. I also gave him high sleight of hand because he is a surgeon. And the expertise doesn't replace the individual skills. Did I go over his skill ranks? I don't remember if I went over his skill ranks, but I'll go over them again. He's got 2 deception, 17 magic. Yeah, I went over this. 2 medicine. Yeah, 3 investigation, 3 perception, 3 persuasion, 7 sleight of hand, 1 technology. That 1 technology is just to allow him to be able to use technology. I don't want him to be stumped by a phone or a simple password. Not like this. Any questions, chat? So this is one of the things that makes me wish that I had Hero Labs. Like, if I had the full amount of Hero Labs, I would build this character in Hero Labs and then export it and put it up for people to download. I would hands down do that export and put it up for people to download. It might be something to think about in the future whenever I'm not, struggling to have a place to live. That might be something to consider to expand my content. I don't know. A friend of mine is developing a new. They're working on a new tabletop role-playing game that's unlike anything I've ever seen before. So I might do some content on that whenever it comes out. Always looking to develop new things and think about it. Because the thing is, the Hero Labs licenses cost upwards of like $50. So it's like buying a whole new book. It's essentially like buying all the books over again. Alternatively, I could just put this character on a regular character sheet. I still have those fillable character sheets. I could probably put this on one of those. What do you think, chat? Think I should put these on character sheets and have them available for download? At least do Grimoire because he's my baby. I'm glad I went with the Type 3 Grimoire. I could make the polyglot not innate and get one more effect, but I think I'm fine with this. And with Ghost Hand, he can extra effort in order to increase its double the carrying capacity. Actually, no, it's since it's take a move action as part of it instead of just a, isn't it, I'm trying to remember if move object was, so remember there was a thing with move object where you could very easily increase the standard action by taking a move action in addition to the standard action. You can increase it +1 and then if you extra efforts you can essentially, so he could move this up 2 ranks from 3 to 5 if he had to lift up something huge by using a move action, and yeah, which would bring it up to 1,600 pounds, which that's huge. Do okay. I think overall we've built essentially an old school D&D wizard. Anything else before I end stream? Let's fill this in. Water. Wind. Ice. Say cold. Electric. Earth. Can be elemental. Got wind, I've got earth. I guess we just start over. Like, which ones are going to be more useful? I guess just... cold. Okay. Got 10 elemental bolts of varying elements prepped and ready. Some of them he has spares prepped. So actually, it's funny. Prepping each spell takes 4 minutes. So this would take 40 minutes to prep all of these. That's funny. All right, well, let's change out of this for a second. Hey, everybody. I just wanted to end stream here. It seems like it's coming up on 10:30. If anybody there is lurking, I really appreciate you. I'm grateful to all of you lurkers and people who come in the chat just to hang out, enjoy the chill beats and the fun times. I want you all to know that you're all amazing and important to me. I wanted to share with you all something really quick before I end. My living situation's kind of getting, not dicey, but being called into question with certain things. So I decided to start a Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi or whatever. There's a link to that in the description, as well as I have a tips thing in there. If any of you ever feel motivated to donate to improve my life, which would then improve the content of the stream, feel free to do so. And just know that I am grateful for each and every one of you. And always remember the motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always, always, always stop to enjoy the memes. Remember, I love each and every one of you, and you are important. Have a good night.